Just recently this week, All Saints and All Souls Day, and we've talked a bit about that. I'd like to talk a bit more about that in general, All Saints and All Souls. We have regularly, nearly every day, feasts of saints. Well, there would be a feast of a saint, at least one saint a day. That's just how it works. But just recently, like last week, we had St. Anthony Mary Claret, who was a bishop, and St. Simon and Jude the Apostles. And then into this week, after All Saints and All Souls, we had Martin de Porres, and we had Charles Borromeo. And then coming up next week, we've got others, St. Leo the Great, Martin of Tours, Jehoshaphat, who was a bishop also. So on and on, each day we have saints. So you're with Mission Alive. This is Roger from the MSC Mission Office. So week by week, day by day, there are many saints. They all have their story, they all have their history, they all have stories about why they were made saints and what they did or achieved, or however they came to be a saint. All Souls also, we remember all our own dead, which we probably did, and sometimes we can just go through a list and name them and remember them and sort of send our prayers out for them and to them. I often pray for those who have no one to pray for them. And I remember many years ago a woman in a parish told me a story that the parish priest asked her to accompany him to a funeral of a person, a dead person obviously, who was nameless, homeless, no history at all, no known relatives or anything. And he was asked to the burial, so she went also. So at least there was those two were there for this burial, this person who was, as I said, unknown. Many others like that. There are those who also have died in wars or by violence. People might know who they were, that they're gone, they're missing, they're dead, but may not know where they are, where their body is. There'd be many like that. People who've died of tragedies at sea. That Malaysian airline plane that went down a few years ago. People know who was on it, but they don't know where they are. So many things about the dead, people with unknown burial places, and so we remember all of those, and perhaps we pray for those who have no one else to pray for them. They all left something behind. The saints that are recognised, they left something behind. They left a legacy. Everybody leaves something behind. Well, hopefully they do. Some memory. Even that man who was nameless, homeless, somewhere back in his history, there would have been people who knew him and perhaps wondered whatever happened to him. And often we do. We meet people, maybe briefly. Maybe we know them for some time, and then for different reasons we drift apart out of each other's lives. But we can leave something behind. Everybody leaves something behind. So perhaps if you're thinking of particularly your own dead or people that you have known who have died, you could perhaps even list off, their talents, their abilities, what they left behind, what they achieved, what their legacy was, so that they are remembered. So that's part of praying for the All Souls, is to remember people and remember parts of their stories, and thank God for their stories, and also send our thanks and our prayers to that person in a prayerful way. Just like as we think of them, we can just send thoughts, send prayers. And so we unite ourselves in that, as we call the communion of saints, which includes the communion of souls, and that's a point of unity and a point of belonging to something bigger than we are. So thank you for being with us on mission. Let us remember those who have gone before us.